Back again with breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. As not only are the Chicago Bears going to be drafting somebody dominant tomorrow, but they may be looking to go at best case scenario and move up in this draft. This is coming per Pat Leonard, Giants beat writer for the New York Daily Sports. Tweeted out, league source text, Chicago Bears looking to move up. Another league source, 6 teams ahead of the Bears at number 10 are open to moving back. Who could that be that the Bears are possibly looking to move up for? Do we think that it's going to happen? All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us as always, man. Listen, this is good news. I like this. First off, it's smokescreen season. It's lying season. Does it mean that this is going to happen? Absolutely not. But if there is news on it, we are going to talk about it. And to me, this is big enough news absolutely to go live on, because I don't think that it's something that we heard different from what Ryan Poles was talking about at the podium the other day. I don't think that it's something that we heard different from what Ian Cunningham was talking at the podium the other day. The only difference that we're hearing now is that up to 6 teams ahead of the Chicago Bears may be looking to move back, which I don't even know if that's all that different, because remember what Ian Cunningham and Ryan Poles said at the presser the other day: expect it to get wild. Expect this whole situation to get wild. And so, listen, I think starting here, let's start up with the trade up situation that the Chicago Bears could be in. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. All right, let's jump into this conversation, because the trade-up conversation is an interesting one if the Chicago Bears were to do this. It goes kind of into the conversation that me and Jordan JC were having this morning about where do the Bears think they are? Where does this team really believe that it is right now as it's heading into this draft? Because if you believe that you are in a situation where you are I use the Philadelphia Eagles as an example this morning. I'll use them again here. If you feel like you're in a situation where you are in a Philadelphia Eagles situation where I've got the offensive line, I've got the defensive line, I've got the wide receivers, I've got the linebackers, I've got all of these pieces, and I just need one piece that's going to be the blue chip piece of this draft to add to this team, to put this team over the top, right? I could see why the Chicago Bears might want to trade up. And what the Bears have been telling Bears fans this entire time has been just that. What the Bears have been telling Bears fans this entire time is that, hey, listen, we're not only in win now mode, but we're in win now and win big mode. We're not trying to go out here and just win a couple of games and have fun. We're trying to go out here and blow teams out of the water. And so it does make sense to hear these kind of conversations around the Chicago Bears when it comes to trading up, when it comes to trying to go out there and add one of those blue chip pieces. Ryan Poles talked about yesterday while we were talking to him at the podium that, there's not a lot of blue chip pieces in this draft for you to go out there and get. There's not a lot of blue chip pieces that you're looking at right now and saying, hey, I can grab this guy at 10 and he's going to be a face of the franchise piece moving forward. If you feel that way, and if you're Ryan Poles and you feel that way moving forward, right, I can see why the Chicago Bears may want to go out there and go get that blue chip piece. Now, it depends on what kind of piece we're talking. I'm going to talk about all of the names that could be there for the Chicago Bears. Contrast Shifting Technology said the last 2 seasons, we all were drinking the Kool-Aid and we got kicked in the nuts. I don't know if this is drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't know if this is drinking the Kool-Aid. This is just reacting to the news that is out there. This is just reacting to the conversation that the Chicago Bears may trade up. Is that a conversation that we haven't had this offseason? To me, I think that's a conversation we've had multiple times this offseason. Could they trade up? Who would it be worth it for trading up for? And I think here's the thing. In most Bears fans' minds, most people that are coming into this chat, that are coming into the draft, by the way, if you're in the chat, hit that like button. And most people that are coming in here are in the mindset that the Bears aren't where the team may think they are, right? We're all in the mindset of, hey, pump the brakes. I know you think you're in win now mode, but this is, it's going to take this season for you to get to win now mode. You're not just going to hit the ground running and go out there and start dominating the second that you hit the field. That's kind of where most Bears fans are. The Bears do not believe that they are there, and so the trade back scenario is for building teams. The trade back scenario is for adding a bunch of glue pieces, which I would still love to see the Chicago Bears do. But if you feel like there's a blue chip piece that you are going to regret letting get past you, and you've got teams above you that are willing to trade back, and you've got the capital to trade up, I'm fine with you going after your piece. Now, what is that piece going to be? Let's start it off with the conversation that everybody is wanting to have around the Chicago Bears right now. And he added a little bit of fuel to the fire today with some of his comments up in Green Bay, right? Ashton Jeanty has been the big name that Bears fans have been talking about as possibly coming in here to Chicago. By the way, we are over 100 in the chat. Almost over 200. Let's get up over 200. Starting off the conversation with Ashton Jeanty. Listen, if you're trading up for Ashton Jeanty, if you're trading up for a running back, if you thought I was furious about trading up before or about taking a running back in the first round, imagine what I would be on trading up for a running back. Now, I'm all for you having conviction and going and getting your guy. The reason that I would be more upset by it is I think if you take Ashton Jeanty at 10, you can make an argument for there were no other blue chip pieces, right? You can make an argument for, by the way, over 200. 200. You can make that argument. You can make the argument on, you know what, if Tyler Warren's your best option and Ashton Jeanty's there, Ashton Jeanty's the better piece to take. He was the best running back in college football this season. They're continually stacking it in the box. He's dominated. I can get that. If you're telling me that you're trading up into a spot where Mason Graham may be, because with 6 teams ahead of you, right, that means that there are a lot of pieces available to you. There are a lot of pieces on the board that are available to you. Like we could be talking about trading up in the Abdul Carter range if we really want to have that conversation, and we will. But if you're telling me that you're trading up to, let's just say 5, say you trade up the Jacksonville spot, and you take Ashton Jeanty over Mason Graham, insane. And like I said, Jeanty, I think, added a little bit of fuel to the fire today with the conversation around Green Bay, and they asked him, what do you think of Green Bay? And he's like, there's not much to do up here. Bears fans instantly took that and said, oh, look at him. He already hates Green Bay. I love this guy. I did like the comment. I'm not going to lie to you. But to me, giving up that future capital, giving up that top tier capital to go out there and add Ashton Jeanty, I think Ashton Jeanty is going to be a fine player in this NFL, but it is not what I want to see this team go out there and do. It is not how I want to see this team build, right? Because, again, there's so many running backs in this draft. You could trade pieces in this draft, move up, take Mason Graham if he is available, depending on where you move up to. Or Will Campbell is in that conversation as well. And still get a really freaking good running back in the second round. Still get a really freaking good running back in the third round. Like, there are options there that are available to the Chicago Bears, and I just wouldn't want to see them squander away those options by going out there and giving up draft capital to go out there and get Jeanty. That would be tough for me. I think that would be one where, again, he's going to be fine in the league. If you draft him, he's going to be a player. He's going to be a playmaker. But you're always going to think in the back of your mind, unless this guy becomes a 10-year player or an 8-year player even, unless he becomes, right, you do that, you make that trade, oh, he better be Walter Payton or Walter Payton 2.0, right? He could be second to Walter Payton, but you got to be above Matt Forte. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be the second best running back in Chicago Bears history. or third best. Gale Sayers, right? Gale Sayers still in it. You're never gonna pass Gale. Like, you gotta pass up Matt Forte as that third best running back in Bears history. Like, that would be asinine to me to see the Bears do that. So to me, trading up for Genti is a non-conversation. I think one name that is interesting to me, and he talked with the media today as well. By the way, if you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. What you say? Bears Junkie said, if we trade up for a running back, I'm flipping tables with Pat. You already know what I'm about to be. I'm putting mugs through tables if we trading up for Genti. Hey, come through. Stop playing with me. I'm putting mugs through tables if we trading up for Genti. Let's stop the nonsense. Let's stop the nonsense. And there's still going to be people in here after this video is posted and after the comments that are going to be sitting there just talking about, oh my God, if he's the blue chip running back, how could you not? Listen, I'm living with 10. I will accept 10. You trade up for Asher Genti. I'm putting somebody through a table out here. The other conversation, though, that I do think is interesting now, if you trade up, and is somebody that the Chicago Bears did end up talking to today, is Will Campbell. I'm sorry, not talking to today, but talking to in the pre-draft workout. He was talking with the media today. Is Will Campbell. Will Campbell, I think, is an interesting name that the Bears could bring in. What I love about this is that according to what Will Campbell has been told by the Chicago Bears, if he is drafted by the Chicago Bears, he will be the left tackle for this team. Over 300 in a chat. 300. He will be the left tackle for this team moving forward. Or he will play left tackle for the Bears, right? It depends on where they work him in at. And I think that just makes sense. Listen, I don't care if he's 4'2" and he's 40 pounds. If I watched him for the last 4 seasons go up against the SEC and absolutely be a road grader, absolutely dominate, and I get an opportunity to put him in next to Joe Thuney and let him get used to the NFL game and let him figure some things out while going out there and still already being what I would say is arguably the best left tackle in this draft. I think Armand Membo is the best overall tackle, but the best left tackle in this draft. I'm fine with that. I think it puts you in a position where, hey, you don't have to be the best player in the world right away. You just have to be serviceable. And when I see, again, when you look at his tape, he's a monster on the field. He's a road grader on the field. He's dominant on the field. And that's where it matters. You can show me all the numbers. You can show me the stumpy arms that we all believe, right? I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's reaching for the sky. Yeah, I don't know where his elbows are. They're a little stumpy, but he's got the footwork. He's got the ability. He's got the power to be that guy. That to me is the big situation that works in the Bears' favor. You've seen him do it on the football field. You've seen him do it at a position where he's essentially been on an island. Right? He's not sitting there getting a ton of help, getting a ton of chipping help and different things like that. He has been the guy. Let him come into this NFL and be the guy. I would love to see the Chicago Bears trade up for Will Campbell. I think it makes a ton of sense for what this Bears team wants to do offensively. And realistically speaking, I think that he is the one blue chip offensive line piece that is in this draft and just one that makes the most sense for the Chicago Bears. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below as well. Tillis said those arms do look little. Bro, they do. Listen, he looked like he don't got elbows, bro. You know what I mean? He looks like he don't got elbows. Jordan JC in the chat said, by the way, a steak on the way if we get him, Pat. No. You said at 10, my good sir. You said at 10. We didn't have trade-ups in that. We didn't have trade-ups in that scenario. Well, if we're doing that, we having that same conversation on Mason Graham, who I also want to talk about coming up here. I do want to let you guys know all about the draft party, though, that we have coming up. If you have not bought tickets for the draft party, there are still tickets available. We are going to be at VIP Bar and Grill this Thursday, April 24th, 6 p.m. until we get the hiccup out of there. We're giving away a 65-inch TV in a raffle. We're also giving away some merch in a raffle. Going to be reacting to the draft as it's happening live. Can't wait to kick it with you. I think Baki already said that he's coming out to kick kick it with us, man. A bunch of people have texted me and tweeted me saying, yo, we can't wait to come out there and hang out with you guys, man. It is going to be a vibe. Tickets on sale. Link is in the description below, so tap in with us. Link is also pinned in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, click that link that's pinned in the chat. At the top of the chat, you can join up on the Discord, man. We'd love to have you in there as a part of the Breeze family. Let's have the conversation now on Mason Graham. Let's have the conversation now on Mason Graham, right? Because I think Augustin, I agree with you, right? I don't even think the quarterbacks are blue chip pieces. When I look at Cam Ward, my glasses are filthy from like just running around. When I look at Cam Ward, when I look at Shedeur Sanders, when I look at Jackson Dart, none of those guys stand out as blue chip pieces to me. But when I go out there and I look at Abdul Carter, when you look at Mason Graham, when you look at Will Campbell, I'll throw Ashton Jeanty in there. I'll say 4. I'll say there's 4 blue chip pieces because I do think he sets himself apart as far as a running back. As far as the running back classes, I think he's the best of the class. To me, you're talking about Mason Graham being that ultimate piece on the interior. And the comments that Dennis Allen made, I think just fit to the conversation of Mason Graham so perfectly. Remember, I just dropped the video talking about it. If you didn't get a chance to see it, tap in with it. Probably an hour ago, we dropped that video talking about how Dennis Allen kind of talked about what he's ideally wants with his edge pieces, what he ideally wants on the offensive line, especially coming up the middle, and how important that pressure up the middle is. And that it's just different in today's NFL where, quarterbacks are spending a lot of time in shotgun. The quickest line to the quarterback is up the middle. If you can force the pressure in the middle of that pocket, you can get in the face of the quarterback, especially when a lot of these quarterbacks are spending a ton of time in shotgun, right? And you're talking about still having that pressure off of the edge where now you can't step up into the pocket. You step up in the pocket, you got Mason Graham and Javon Dexter on your heels. I think that is one of the best one of the best situations for the Bears if you were to trade up. It's the name that I want the Bears to get probably the most if you were to trade up, because I do listen, as much as I go at Braxton Jones on this show, right? I'm not a Braxton Jones guy. I do believe Braxton Jones being paired with Joe Thuney standing next to him will become a better player. I don't know if he becomes an elite player, but does he become a player that you can live with on that edge? I do think that happens. I think that he's one of those guys. And so for me, when I look at that conversation, when I look at that situation of, okay, can you survive with that offensive line the way it is? Yes, especially with how much the Bears are going to be running the ball. I get it, right? We want Caleb Williams to throw the football 45 times a game. The Bears are going to be running the football a lot. The wide receivers literally come out and say, no block, no rock. Like Rome Odunze has said it. DJ Moore has said it. Like all of these people have said, no block, no rock. Olamide Zaccheaus, who's the slot wide receiver, has said it. You know what I mean? When you hear that conversation, you know that they're going to be running the football. That means that's speaking of Braxton Jones' strength. So can I survive with the side of the football that I have currently where I'm at? Yes, I do think that you can survive this season. Still want to upgrade that position, but I do think you can survive this season. As we look at the other side of the football, though, do we feel confident that we have that guy that could bring that pressure consistently up the middle? I think we have that with Javon Dexter. I think we have that in an aging Grady Jarrett. I think we have that in Andrew Billings, who is returning from injury. But that's a lot of I think. Right? That's a lot of I think. We saw a good amount of pressure last season. I think we have that with Dayo Odeyingbo, who we brought in here, but who may end up playing edge because he perfectly fits what Dennis Allen is looking at for that edge. That is what I'm like. To me, that's a conversation of, if you're going to go get that guy, if you want to go get the 10-year guy, if you want to get the guy that is going to wreak the most havoc on the field, I do believe that could be Mason Graham. And to me, it's the guy that makes the day one impact probably right away. Rookie left tackles, listen, he's going to have his struggle. Everyone's going to have their struggle moments. All rookies have their struggle moments. But Mason Graham is the guy that I look at in this draft outside of Abdul Carter that I go, that's your defensive rookie of the year. That's the guy that's going to force a lot of problems for quarterbacks in this draft. And I think Abdul Carter's in that conversation as well. But how high are you going to have to go up for Abdul Carter? Now, again, we are hearing 6 teams are willing to move back in this draft, which tells you that more teams are looking at this draft as go out there and build your depth. Listen, maybe you can get into Abdul Carter range. And I would love to get into Abdul Carter range. To me, having the conversation on Abdul Carter as we pivot from the Mason Graham conversation, I think Mason Graham will be great. I think Abdul Carter is the best football player in this draft. It just doesn't, like, why would somebody give up Abdul Carter? That's the question for me, right? If you're the Patriots, why are you letting Abdul Carter go at 4? Okay, if you go Will Campbell at 4, if you're the who's that? If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, why are you letting Abdul Carter go at 5? Like, why are you moving on from that piece? It would bring up some of the questions on guys getting scared off, but listen, like, teams get scared off all the time. Doesn't mean that players can't play. There were, what is it, 16 teams last season didn't draft Jared Verse, even though you could clearly see that he was going to be a monster. There were 11 teams that didn't draft, including the Chicago Bears, that didn't draft Jalen Carter. Even though he was going to be a monster. And I get all of the situations around it, all the off the field stuff, but like, if you're looking for going out and getting the blue chip piece, if you're looking for going out and getting the best player available, there is no better football player in this draft than Abdul Carter. I think Travis Hunter is a really, really good football player. He is not going to be able to play both ways. If he is, mark him down now as the greatest football player of all time. If he's able to play both ways, mark him down as the greatest football player of all time. In the modern NFL, like, I get it back then, right? Back in the day, different quarters, different amount of games. But if you are able to play 17 games both ways, yeah, you got it, bro. You're that guy. I don't believe he'll be able to do that in the NFL. And so for me, if I'm looking at Abdul Carter and I'm seeing, okay, right, he's coming in, he has all of the tools, he's got, I guess the measurables are probably, what is Abdul Carter weight wise? Let me make sure I'm being 100% on this. NFL draft guide. Nope, not that one. Let's look at the big board. Let's look at Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter is coming in 6'3", 255 pounds. So in that conversation, Abdul Carter does not fit what Dennis Allen is looking for on that edge. But remember, Dennis Allen also said, I'm willing to give up pounds for power. Abdul Carter has power. Abdul Carter is the kind of player that, like Dennis Allen talked about earlier in the offseason. Yeah, there's certain players you just adjust for. He's that kind of player. He's an absolute monster coming off of that edge. I do think that he has the injury concerns, which may end up causing him to drop. But if you're telling me right now, there's an opportunity to trade up for the guy who was the consensus #1 overall pick until all of a sudden quarterbacks, Tennessee needed a brand new quarterback. And so they're just like, well, let's go get Cam Ward. And Cam Ward is not a better football player than Abdul Carter. And give me the better football player any day of the week. Now, again, what is it going to cost you to move up there? That's a conversation that I think you got to have that. It's not going to be cheap to move up from 10 to 4. You're talking about giving up probably future first-round draft capital. You're talking about probably giving up draft capital in this draft. More than likely one of those seconds that you do have, possibly the 5th, and maybe a future first. But do you look at Abdul Carter and say this guy is going to be one of the best defensive players in the NFL over the next 10 years? If you do, nobody's going to care about the capital you gave up. That will always be true. If you find a way to get Abdul Carter, no one will care about the capital you gave up if he ends up being what he's projecting to be. That's the bottom line of it. That's the bottom line of it. Capital matters when guys are bad. When you're giving up draft capital, if you miss, I'm pissed. If you hit, what am I supposed to say? But if you're talking about moving up from 10 to 4, you're giving up a lot. You're giving up a lot in this draft too. Again, I believe that there are a lot of pieces in this draft that you can look at, that you can go out there and identify and say, yeah, he's not going to be a superstar, but most of the league is made up of glue guys. He's going to be a glue guy. He's going to be that guy that holds this team together. And so if you're in a position right now where you feel that you can move up, and it is a Will Campbell, it is a Abdul Carter, it is a Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty would be tough for me. But it pans out, no one is going to care, and that will always be true. Daniel said Abdul Carter giving you 10 sacks day one. I also think this speaks to the conversation that I talked about again this morning with Ryan Poles, right? Where you're sitting there looking at a lot of the pieces at 10 and saying, okay, yeah, I love this guy at 10. I love Mike Green at 10. I do. I love Mike Green at 10. By the way, over 500 in that shit. 500. Oh, I don't know why I hit that one, but good morning. 278 on the YouTube side. Hit that like button if you have not done so. We got 278 in here. Got 55 likes on the video. Let's hit that like button, man. We got 235 over on the Twitter side, man. Hit that retweet button. But Ryan Poles talked about at 10 how there's talent that's out there. There's these groups, right? You got your top tier talent, and then you might look at 10 and he might have the same grade as somebody all the way down at 40. If that's how you're grading this out, if that's how you're looking at this, why am I going after the guy at 10 when I know I'm still going to have 40? If I move up and I can hold on to 41 and I can go get a blue chip piece while still getting a guy that I valued at the number 10 spot at 40, essentially I got 2 and 10. Now it's got to play out that way. Right? It's got to play out that way. I'm not telling you that it's going to be a perfect world, but if you're telling me I get Abdul Carter or Mason Graham or Will Campbell, whoever it is, by trading up, and I hold on to the 41st pick and I get Travion Henderson there. Sounds like 2 great moves to me. Sounds like 2 moves that immediately impact your team. You know what I mean? And so I'm in the line of thinking that if that's where Ryan Poles values it, and again, he's got to be right. You can't be wrong on that. You can't be wrong. You can't say we're willing to give up all of this because we think that the value at 10 is the same value at 40, and then you're wrong and you miss. That's a big swing. It's a big swing. And this is a draft that I've said, I think this is a draft that has enough talent in it that teams that have more picks, like the Patriots, a team that has more picks, like the Patriots, are going to be able to go out there and add enough talent to this team to where your star piece, if that is your young quarterback, if that is whatever wide receiver you end up adding at the top of this draft, whatever it is a great piece for you. Now all of a sudden we got all these glue guys. Now our team is kind of revamped. And also I got Drake May and I got Ted McMillan at 10, which makes a heck of a lot more sense. We'll see what ends up happening, man. I like the fact that that the Bears are at least making these calls. Again, if you're just joining us, being reported by Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News, that the Chicago Bears are looking to move up, and another league source has said that 6 teams ahead of the Bears at number 10 are open to moving back. Do you like the move? I'm going to talk with y'all before I get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page. Daniel says, Shea said on ESPN said Montez Sweat pressure rate is 42nd best in the NFL. That's sad. Yeah, listen, I mean, he's got to be better. We all saw it. Montez has to be better. That's not surprising at all. Like you've got to improve your game. You've got to move in the right direction. And Montez Sweat was down. Montez Sweat also dealt with a ton of injury and was the only pass rusher on the team worth his salt. So not only are you injured, but also I'm sitting here looking at you and I can put 3 guys on you. Pause. It's crazy. It makes it easier. I can double team you and chip you, and nobody else is going to create pressure. We saw that all last season. Crimson said finish the O-line. Listen, I think that's an option here. That's an option here. You move up, you go get Will Campbell. That's an option here. Bears Junkie said the rumors are effing crazy right now. Yeah, they are, and they're going to be crazy, my boy. And they're going to be crazy. Baki said, ready to break some news tomorrow. Breeze Shefty will be in the building. Can't wait to see Baki at the Breeze draft party tomorrow. We're going to be live on YouTube as well. So make sure that you guys are tapped in with us. Let's see what else we got. Knowledge Untamed said, because versus Illinois, Carter got shut down by J.C. Davis on the edge. Had to be moved to linebacker and defensive tackle to impact the game, which you can't do in the NFL. Bama's Mike Can Jihad, he is what people think Carter is. I mean, listen, if you're telling me that the worst thing that happened in that game was that they stopped him at one position, they moved him to another position, and then he made a huge impact, that's the kind of player you want. Like, I want a guy with that versatility. Now, I don't believe that he will be Micah Parsons in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to have the same coverage numbers, if he's going to have the same if he's going to have the same impact as Micah Parsons. I don't believe that he is just Micah Parsons because they played at the same spot. They have the same number. I don't believe that. But I do think that he's going to be one of those top guys. I do believe he's going to be one of those top pass rushers. I do believe he's going to be a guy who's in the running for defensive rookie of the year. I do believe that he's going to be one of those guys that's always in the running for defensive player of the year. And I think that's something you can't miss. Mutt Greer says we get kicker at 10. You stop yourself, Mutt. No more punts. I'm sick of it. No more kicking. We should be done with drafting kickers forever, especially seeing as how we brought one in off of the street and he was able to match Tory Taylor's punts that were everywhere. I seen somebody. Is Carter a fit for Dennis Allen's scheme? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And I think that does play a part into this, right? Dennis Allen told me that he wants big guys that are 280. He wants Cam Jordans on the edge. That's why I think that Mason Graham makes a heck of a lot more sense on the interior. But we also heard Dennis Allen say, if a player is good enough, you fit your scheme to what they do. If a player is good enough, you fit your scheme to what they do. If you trade up, that means that you feel Abdul Carter is good enough. That means that Dennis Allen has seen something on tape, right? It's not just, this is not the Bears just going rogue and saying, oh my God, he doesn't fit Dennis Allen's system, but we got to take him, F it. And he flips a table and then like you go out there and draft him. Like this would be the Chicago Bears conferring with Dennis Allen saying, do you think you could work with him? We've moved up. We've also got Mason Graham as an option here. Like there's a bunch that you can do. So I think that does play a big part into it, where it's not just, oh, well, does he fit Dennis Allen's scheme? It is, to me, you know, like if you're drafting Abdul Carter, Dennis Allen wants Abdul Carter. Relentless Mikey, Pat, undrafted dudes. Does Cairo have some competition? No. They like Cairo. They like Cairo. That's kind of what I take it as. He's accurate. The hope is to put him in a position to where he's close enough to kick short field goals. You know what I mean? Augustin said, what do we think about Carter only visiting teams in the top 3? Should that be concerning? Does he know teams can trade up? No, I'm not concerned by that. He knows he's not going later than 3. At worst, right, you're going to the Patriots. And here's the thing. Every team in this draft can look at it and see the tape. They can see what he did on the field. They can see what he did versus top flight talent. He was one of the best players on the field more times than not. He's a guy that can be moved around in a bunch of different positions. Like, no, you shouldn't be concerned by it. Do you see the Bears drafting 2 running backs? I did float the idea out there to J-Mac. What if the Bears get the guy they want at 10 and go out there and take Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson in the 2nd round? I'd be pissed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be absolutely pissed. Just because for the bro, another soul beat on the way, sir. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. We definitely got to start cooking up with all of that, my guy. We definitely got to start cooking up with all of that. Mutt Greer says, prime defensive end, all SEC from Tennessee or Pierce defensive end, from SEC is good. He is good. He's not Abdul Carter. He's a speed edge. To me, he's Leonard Floyd. He's Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd now, though. I think he's Leonard Floyd now, not Leonard Floyd when he came into the league. What's up, Pat? Do you feel like Braxton Jones and Karan can be salvageable, or do you look to replace your last 2 weak links? Dan Richard spoke highly of him and said there's still a lot of potential with them. Listen, nobody's going to come out 3 weeks in and say this guy sucks, but the actions of the team will dictate how they feel about it. Right? Like the actions of the team will dictate how they feel about it. I think that the Bears are in a position where if you are going to run with Braxton Jones, you're going to run with Karan Amagaji. You've put yourself in the best position to do that. You've got Joe Thuney standing next to him. You're going to run the football a heck of a lot more. You've got Drew Dalman in the middle. The offensive line is not going to just fall apart around him. And so Braxton, is kind of not left on this island to have to figure things out. You can also help him a little bit more, and depending on what running back you bring in. If you bring in Travion Henderson, you're helping him a ton because that young man can saw players in half. And I think it just makes Braxton Jones' life a lot easier if you're running to that side of the ball. But if I were to sit here and tell you that, do I think that Ryan Poles doesn't want to upgrade the position? We see that last year. He took Karan Amagaji in the 3rd round. I keep hearing they love Braxton Jones. They love Braxton Jones. They love Braxton Jones. They drafted his replacement. You didn't draft Karan Amagaji to be a dude that doesn't play. Now, it worked out that way with the injury and stuff last year, but you didn't draft him to be that guy. You drafted him to be the starting left tackle of the Chicago Bears. We can pretend you didn't all you want. You drafted him to be the starting left tackle of the Chicago Bears. Will Rice said, Pat, do you like the acquisition of Micah Parsons? For the Bears, if the Bears were to go out there and get Micah Parsons, listen, again, when you get great players, you rarely care what you gave up for them. When you get great players, you rarely care what you gave up for them, right? So I would be shocked if it's not $1 billion worth of value to go get Micah Parsons. But am I going to sit here and be like, oh God, we got Micah Parsons. What are we going to do? No, I'm going to love it. He's Micah Parsons. Let me see here. What do we got here? Pat, what's up with your boy? Well, I don't know if he's my boy. Chad Ford spreading Bears rumors, having never been right about anything with the Bears for the last 3 years, asking for a friend. What'd he say? I don't even know what Chad Ford Bears rumor there is. Like, Timothy Liggins says, would you say this is a make or break draft for polls? I would say that depends on how well the current players are coached up. And what I mean by that is not to say that you shouldn't get good pieces in this draft, but let's say you go Tyler Warren at 10, right? And Tyler Warren is kind of meh. If Caleb Williams still has a 4,000 plus yard season, the Bears win 11 games, and you end up going to the playoffs and you win a playoff game, are we going to be sitting here going, wow, this Ryan Poles, he didn't get the job done in the draft? No, we're going to say, oh, Caleb Williams is a hit. Rome Odunze is a hit. There's a bunch of hits on this team that he signed, right? Like we're going to get, you look at things through different lenses based on whether you win or lose. It's just, it's the reality of the beast. V-Dog said, hey, Pat, why are you so against running backs? Everybody gets so caught up with the passing attack, but most of the Lions offense was based off of the run first. I wouldn't be shocked if they take a running back high. I'm not against running backs. I'm against paying running backs big money because it just about never works out. Now, Saquon Barkley has proven to be a different situation. Saquon Barkley has the best offensive line in football standing in front of him. Derrick Henry has proven to be a different situation. Derrick Henry has a top 5 offensive line in football standing in front of him. Derrick Henry also is a monster that is a different animal. My problem is if you draft a running back in the first round, you have to give that running back the 5th-year option, which means he's one of the top paid guys. Ashton Jeanty comes in as, I believe, the 6th highest paid running back in football right now, as soon as he gets drafted. Right? And then you have to make a decision on whether you keep that guy long term. Remember how that worked out for Zeke Elliott. Remember how that worked out for why am I blanking on boy that was with the Rams? Oh God, why am I blanking on him? That went to the Super Bowl with him the first time. Help me out, chat. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm thinking Tony Pollard, and that's not who it is. I know that's not who it is. That's friggin' Dallas. But it's one of those situations where it's like, by the time I have to pay you, you're so broken down. Ty Gurley. Thank you, Daniel. By the time I have to pay you, you're so broken down that it's not worth it for me to give you this big contract, which usually means I'm moving on from you, which usually means I'm drafting another running back. And I just feel like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there aren't elite running backs. There aren't special running backs. But Ezekiel Elliott was special. And now he is not 30 yet, and he's not special. Unfortunately, that's how the NFL goes. Ezekiel Elliott was what, 1,700 yards his rookie season? Was he almost 2,000? Was he 2,000 yards from scrimmage his rookie year? That's my thing, right? And by the time they gave him the contract, it was like, all right, now live up to the contract. Well, now I'm under 1,000 yards. Well, now I'm barely breaking 1,000 yards. Well, now I'm starting to break down. I'm starting to deal with injuries. I'm starting, right? All of those things come into it. And more times than not, that's how the running back position goes. That's usually why teams, and look, you can be mad at me all you want. I'm just the one that's willing to say it. That's how the NFL looks at most running backs. You don't see a lot of 10-year running backs anymore. Saquon may get there. I think Derrick Henry has gotten there, if I'm not mistaken. No, he might be. Derrick Henry, is he at 9 years? He'll get to 10. This will be his. He's at 8 years. He has to slow him down though. But that's why, to me, when I look at running backs, it's like the big saying that I take away is a good running back doesn't make a bad offensive line good. A good offensive line can make a bad running back good. So I would rather have the offensive line for my quarterback's sake. Oh, by the way, I didn't know we were over 600. 600. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Now, I'm with you. Draft another one in 5 years. I hear you. That's a lot of money for the top dude to be moving on from in 5 years. Let me know how you guys feel. Do you think the Chicago Bears will actually move up in the draft? Do you think that this is something that will end up being legit? Or do you think this is just smoke? There's a lot of smoke out there, but sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. When there's fire, there's flame. When there's flame, there's chronic. Either you're high or you ain't. My bad. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Pull up for the draft party if you haven't done so. Tickets are on sale in the description. Peace.
The best show for Chicago sports. Oh my God!